Thank God for globalization. Money gets you anything on prescription, and here, there's plenty of that. I didn't need a translator to know what these were. The same in any language. The words on the bottle were different, but that didn't matter. This hangover might need some preventative medicine. At that moment, I was kind of glad for the pharmaceutical industry's grip on the developing world. I'd gone head first through a glass window. I deserved a little something for the pain. A little consolation prize for having my assault on the free bar cut short. I couldn't remember the last time I'd done drugs in a nightclub. And one thing I had in common with the clientele of this trendy hellhole, some shared habits. I didn't know what they were, but this was a nightclub, and I'd never been a picky eater. If I was gonna lose the boss's wife and sister-in-law, I might as well do it medicated. I needed something to improve my game. If it was good enough for a professional athlete, it was good enough for me. I was in need of a little performance enhancement myself. Just what my 10 different online doctors ordered. I heard these soccer players weren't good with pain. My shoulder was ripped to shreds. For once, I had an excuse to medicate. Hidden away for a rainy day. When scotch won't do the job. Must have forgotten about those. Might make the pain of leaving somewhat easier. Always in moderation. Scotch and pills. What could possibly go wrong? Malaria tablets might have been more useful out there. I prefer to mix these with alcohol, but on this special occasion I'd make an exception. The goons were all on marching powder, so why not medicate? I was in a cocaine factory, but I'd stick to the depressants. It didn't look like the damp had gotten to them. Just passed their sell-by, but I wasn't picky. If only I could have taken something for the humidity. They could replace these on Monday morning. Sunday at the office, no one else would need these. I'd woken up with a headache, and it was only getting worse. One of the perks of working for Fabricas Bronco. They could invoice me. I'm a self-righteous pain in the ass, but I'm not above embezzling office supplies. This was going to be a safe medical detox. They told me the favelas were full of drugs. One vice at a time. I'd have felt worse taking someone's medication if everybody in that place hadn't been trying to kill me. I was running the risk of becoming too clear-headed. Something for the cold? I guess they helped with the grief. I didn't mind saying goodbye to this place whacked out on meds. Plots here weren't cheap. I'd take a freebie. The dead bodies didn't need them. Saying goodbye is painful. I knew this was all my fault, and there was only one way I dealt with guilt. My body ached and my eyes burned. I needed something to straighten me out. I had to get that image of Fabiana out of my head. There was a danger of this starting to get too real. I guess sobriety is relative. If I filled my body with enough poison, maybe I'd forget I added another dead girl to my rap sheet. Breakfast of champions. Day 2 of sobriety was going about as well as day 1. I needed to get to my unhappy place. When it's you and a pregnant woman against an army of mercenaries, you take what you can get. The spoils of a desperate man. It felt strange dealing with any of this without a lining of scotch on the stomach. This would have to do. The boat was well appointed. Daphne's ship was always stocked. They didn't help with my sea legs, but they sure as shit felt good. The pirates wouldn't get everything. I had to save some valuables. Booze, coke, pills. You could get whatever party favor you wanted on this vessel. I needed something to help me adjust to being back on land. It was nice to see a friendly face in Panama. Fancy seeing you here. My own private welcoming party. Call it evidence for De Silva. I hadn't slept in days. I needed something to keep me going. If I'd thought about this too much, I'd never get through it. Where those bastards were going, they wouldn't need medication. You can't unsee something, but you can dull the effect. When you find yourself in hell, dance with the devil. Figured I'd bag those up for evidence. Special Forces painkillers. About the only friend I had left in that town. Luckily, I wasn't the only cop with a pill problem. Seemed the anti-drug squad had a few habits of its own. They had their body armor, I had mine. I always liked to travel on medication. Something for the nerves. I meant to end this how I'd begun it, heavily medicated. Airports always made me nervous. I could deal with my remaining substance abuse issues when this was all over. Chances were I wasn't going to be alive much longer, so why not get a buzz on?